Hello, and welcome back to the episode of the 2020 podcast, Canada's #1 optometry podcast. I am your host, Dr. Harpreet Sayan. Thank you, as always, for taking the time to join me here, guys. I'm super excited. We are at the BCDO, and if you've heard me talk about this before, this is my absolute favorite conference. I'm not just being biased because I'm from Vancouver and I'm a BCOD. It's because it is the best conference in Canada, bar none, by far, and everybody agrees. Trust me. Okay, but we're here in Vancouver at the beautiful JW Marriott. And this episode is in partnership with CooperVision, and we're going to be talking about their exciting new lens, the MyDay Energys. And so we're going to go into details about why this lens is amazing, who can wear this lens, why you want to fit your patients in it. And to talk about this beautiful product, I have two amazing guests. On my far left, I have Madam President, the president of the BC Doctor of Optometry, Dr. Evelyn Lowe, partner at Mount Pleasant Optometry. And next to me here, I have Dr. Nathalie Trottier from Montreal. She was up until recently a practicing optometrist, 15 years of clinical experience, a myopia management expert. I've had the absolute pleasure of speaking with her, presenting with her recently. And now she represents CooperVision, and she is the senior manager of professional affairs and academics at CooperVision. So the perfect person to talk about this brand new lens. So first of all, thank you guys.
Thanks for
coming. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
So why don't we, if you don't mind, each of you give a little bit of an introduction of yourselves. I know I gave a brief one, but Ev, if there's anything else you want to share about yourself of the long list of amazing accomplishments you have.
I mean, the only thing I would probably add now is that I'm working on my MBA.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That's not a small thing.
And the best part of that is just understanding how industry, business, optometry all comes together.
Yeah.
Healthcare really is a business as well. And so we have to keep that in mind. But at the forefront of that is patient care. And so it's always nice to know what's on the leading edge in terms of the new products that come out and how can we make sure that we offer that to our patients.
And I'm learning more and more throughout my career. First of all, the business side of things, so vital, especially as a business owner. But even if you're not a business owner, you're an associate optometrist, there's still so much value in learning the business side of things as far as improving your own career. But if you're talking about revenue, income, generate more of your own income as an associate. If you understand the business better, you're more likely to have a more fulfilling career in that sense. One of the other things I'm learning as I'm moving through my career is the importance of partnering with industry, right? And I talk about this all the time. Like I hug my reps, and it's so important because it helps to build the business. And so I always feel grateful when I have the chance to partner with companies like Cooper because it helps our business grow. It helps me to feel more fulfilled in my career. So Nat, now you've gone from being clinical, an optometrist to working in industry specifically. Tell us a little bit about your journey.
Well, it was a very interesting journey. So it's been 15 years that I was in practice and I just needed a new challenge. So I say, why could I make the big jump in the industry? Yeah. And so just to learn the other part of it and learn also about business, sales and everything, because that was something that I was really passionate about as well. And I like teaching. I like giving lectures. So I say, why should I do that every day?
Right. Well, yeah, that's perfect. That sounds perfect. You're now in that position to provide education, to teach, to do all these amazing things. And it's been a pleasure to be able to get to know you better at our RPD level. So let's talk about this product. Let's talk about MyDay Energys. First of all, Nat, give us a little high level. What is this product and why is it so unique?
So we know that digital devices are everywhere. In our hands, we hold a device that have our communication, work, family, social media, entertainment. So we're always connected anywhere, anytime. So, but the problem is when we are for a long time in front of those devices, a lot of people have visual symptoms related to it. And it's, you can see in your practice, there's a lot of people that have those symptoms. So they say that 71% of people have those. So that's every day in our practice. So we have two major symptoms. So we have first all the dryness because, the blinking rate really decrease when we're in front of electronic devices. So that's having more like dryness, foreign body sensation, things like that. And also it creates a burden on the accommodation system. So then we have more eye pooling, fatigue, things like that. So all of that creates a lot of discomfort. So we do now have a solution for our contact lenses wearer, helps to release those symptoms. So that's the MyDay Energys. It's the first innovative one-day contact lenses that's created for that.
Yeah, it's amazing. And so it's got this technology, the digital boost technology, on top of the existing MyDay lens, which has been around for a while and it's been a successful lens. And yeah, absolutely. Our digital lifestyle, I'm holding this thing in my hand as we're talking about this, but this is our digital lifestyle. Everybody's spending, we all get that pop up on our phone on us. Mine comes on a Sunday. I don't know if that's the case for everybody, but I get a pop up on a Sunday morning. Here's how many hours you've been spending on your phone each day on average or whatever it is, right? So for me, it's like 5 hours a day, which is quite a bit.
Well, you're absolutely in the average because there's 96% of people that spend more than 5 hours per day in front of a digital device.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have more than one. You don't have only one. When I'm working, I have 2 screens. I have 2 phones. So you always need to switch from one devices to the other.
Right. So now we have a contact lens that's supporting our eyes for those functions. So Evelyn, tell us, you've had some exposure to this lens, early exposure to it. Tell us how it's been for you in your clinic and what types of patients are you looking at fitting this lens with?
Yeah, in the disc profile, I'm a C, so a little bit of a skeptic.
Okay.
But basically, what I thought of the lens initially was, it's the same thing, right? And I didn't realize that the Aspire design of it, the 0.3 ad, right, would make such a difference. I had a patient who was 42, and she came in and -6. She says, it's blurry. Well, she read 2020. I was like, okay, so she's probably need a spasm. We just fit her in a different lens. And she's like, it's blurry. Still 2020. Put her in every single lens. And she still says it's blurry. She's very unsatisfied at this point. Right. And just in time, my data just came out. And so I was like, last option, let's try. Nothing to lose. So we did. And she didn't have anything to complain about. And I asked her what the difference was. And she goes, I can't tell you.
That's a thing, right?
It was so interesting. And when she said, she couldn't explain it to me, but the fact that she said the blur was gone, but she was still seeing 2020 tells me that the 0.3 ad was all she needed just to relax enough with accommodation so she wasn't going into her fluctuation. And that is the story where I'd say, okay, truly, I understand now the importance of those pre-presbyonic patients. I find that that's what helps the most for the patients who are, let's say, they're studying. And they're like, I'm feeling a little tired, but I don't really want anything else. I don't want to put on like plus 0.5. That's where the game changer is.
Yeah. That's awesome. So we teased it a little bit, right? This digital boost. Evelyn's talked about that +3 ad. We're going to go a little bit more detail of
0.3.
0.3, excuse me. Not +3.
+3.
That's like a whole different 0.3 ad. And we're going to talk a little bit about the science of that and why that 0.3 is important and where it helps. But one thing I talked about a lot is I like to prescribe anti-fatigue glasses a lot.
Yeah.
And I prescribe them to a whole range of patients. It's not just pre-presbyopes or certain age range. It's like from teenager all the way up to basically presbyopia.
Yep.
And it's not just because there's a bit of early presbyopia or a lack of accommodation. It's because it just helps to relax that accommodative system. It allows our eyes to work more comfortably. And there's a term of visual endurance, or that kind of feeling of like accommodative endurance, where you can just function longer, more comfortably. And that's why I prescribe anti-fatigues a lot. And this, I hope Cooper doesn't mind me saying it. This is essentially an anti-fatigue contact lens. And so for me, I felt like it opened up a lot of doors, a lot of opportunity for a lot of patients to prescribe it in that sort of vein. So why don't we talk a little bit about the detailed sort of science behind it? Why does the 0.3 ad benefit patients?
Yes. So there's 3 key features in that lenses. First, you have the Aquaform technology. So that's the technology behind the material. So it's the same technology as the Biofinity that everyone knows, everyone has prescribed.
Right.
So what is it? It's long chains of silicone with little hydrophilic arms. Right. And those little arms are keeping the water molecule inside the lens. So that way, that lens stays moist all day long without coating agent. And so at the end of the day, the patient is comfortable. So that's Aquaform technology. Then we have the digital boost. So the digital boost, like we mentioned, is a 0.3 diopter boost in the very center of the lens. It's created by Asteristy. And with that, it releases the burden to maintain the accommodation. Give you just a little example that I really like, and I think it really visualized. So we all did the wall sit in high school, right?
Yeah. I still do them sometimes. I hate them.
So just to do the movement is quite easy. Yeah. But the problem is when you spend a lot of time doing it, now your legs are starting to shake. They're starting to have some fatigue. And so that's the same thing is with our eyes when we're in a visual task for a long period of time in near or intermediate, the ciliary muscle are starting to feel that fatigue. And so that's where we kind of ease that burden with that digital boost.
Yeah. So that shaking of the muscle when it starts to get tired. So this is the thing that I like is it's not just blindly, let's just put a 0.3 ad into the lens and let's see what happens. There's actually some research and science behind it, right? So that shaking of the muscle, what's the term that we're using to describe that?
Yes, it's accommodative micro fluctuation, AMF.
Accommodative micro fluctuations.
Exactly.
And so researchers were able to measure those fluctuations in the ciliary body and measure those fluctuations, gosh, I'm having trouble with words, with the Energys lens on top and see a difference.
Yes. Well, actually, what they did is they do it after patients that were using an electronic device. They were reading for 20 minutes on it. And the patient that were using the digital boost technology, they have really less of AMF. They had 0.25 diopter less. Sure. So that's where the 0.3 is.
Right. So there's a measurable difference. They were able to measure the different lower AMF in the patient wearing the Energys lens with that digital boost.
Absolutely, yes.
There was some other, so I've had the privilege of actually speaking on this. And so I got to learn a little bit of this in science and behind all of this. There was a study which I really loved, if you could both speak to it, where, when we're comparing contact lenses, if I pick a brand from brand A, their best premium lens, daily disposable, Sci-Hi, all of that. And I go to brand B and pick their best premium Sci-Hi daily disposable. Even though you're saying it's in the same category, it's not comparing apples to apples, right? Because their molecules in the material are different, the base curve's different, the diameter is different. So it's really hard to say, our lens is better because of ABC or XYZ. But there was a study that really did apples to apples. So I wonder if you could tell us a bit about that.
Sure. To patients that were using the MyDay Sphere, and then some patient and also the patient compared to MyDay Energys. And they really compared their visual symptoms, their visual comfort between those lenses. And 80% of patients were feeling more comfortable. And even their end of day dryness, they feel more comfortable with the MyDay Energys. And we know that it's the same material. So we see that there's kind of a synergy between the visual comfort and also the physical comfort.
Yeah.
Like your eyes are less straining. So you can blink normally. You don't have to strain all the time.
Right.
So while you're doing that, your eyes feel more comfortable. And I actually had a ECP that told me that they say, I know it's the same material, but they say my eyes are less dry at the end of the day. That's amazing.
I think part of that, Nat, is the fact that when you look at how dryness is associated in terms of its symptoms, often it can be associated with just fatigue. And we don't really have a better word to understand it, or tiredness. But when you alleviate that, this is a perfect example to show, it is correlated.
And it's hard to find sometimes the good terms. You feel not comfortable, but, it's hard to really pinpoint it. Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's pretty remarkable. You compare two exact same lenses, exact same material, base curve, everything. All you do is you change the asphericity to create the digital boost, 0.3 ad in the middle of the lens. And 80% of patients are noticing less dryness, less fatigue, tired eyes, all of that. That's pretty remarkable. That tells you, again, that that's the one factor that was different was a digital boost. And I have a patient story myself because I was fortunate enough to have access to the lens a little bit early as well. And so I've got it on some eyes. And just 2 days ago, before we came to PCDO, I had follow up with a patient. And same thing. She's like, this is like the first lens in a long time that my eyes don't feel dry. And she has dry eyes, right? I'm treating her for dry eyes and that kind of thing. But, and it's not that I treated her with dry eyes and then put her in this lens. We've been actively trying different lenses like your patient.
Yep.
And she's like, this is the first one. Like, what's different about this lens? And I was like, you need new technology and so on and so on. She's like, okay. Oh, is there something else that's like this lens that I could also try? I'm like, nope, this is the only one. This is the only one. The only unique in the lens, the first in class that has a digital boost. So it was really cool to see that it wasn't the vision so much for her, it was the comfort, but she noticed an immediate difference there. So really cool. And I found, your story is really interesting, Evelyn, where the patient was like, I can't tell you what's different, but it's just better. Right?
Well, I mean, her subjective blur, we couldn't actually measure.
Yeah.
Right. But you have to listen to the patient. And when you do, you're like, oh, and I'll share a different story with you, which is more of a pediatric case. And I learned this from another colleague. What happened was this child, about 8, if I remember correctly, plus 50. you know how it's like 20/30 vision, kind of a little squinty, but not all the time.
Right.
And we're like, well, we're going to correct it. Your options are plus 50 glasses or plus 50 contact lenses. But we did the plus 50 glasses because mom was not quite sure if she really wanted them full time wearing this.
Yeah.
And then the child did. Next thing you know, they're like, actually, well, reading, it's still kind of a little hard. So we're like, well, if you're wearing this all the time, let's try the contact lens. Plus 50 contact lens with plus 0.3. No issues.
All good, eh?
Yeah.
Very nice.
So very similar to what you're saying with anti-fatigue.
Anti-fatigue, exactly. So again, I should ask you this before. I hope Cooper doesn't mind that analogy because I feel like it's a fitting analogy. But I prescribe anti-fatigue so much and it works so well. It's really cool to have that type of technology in a contact lens as well. So to go back to your patient, Evelyn, that's a really cool story as well. But the one that had that 20/20 vision, but sort of subjective blur.
Yeah.
There's something I learned as I was reading through the materials and presenting on the Energis lens, and they did this simulation, computer simulation, where they used the point spread function. They did these computer algorithms and whatever to basically create a visualization of what a patient would see. Okay, point spread function. If optometrists are listening, if you remember this, okay, optics, I've forgotten it, but when a beam of light hits the retina, how much does it spread, right? And different lenses will create different point spread functions, right? And the broader that spread, the less resolution. So what they found was with the digital boost, there was a tighter point spread function. So more resolution at looking at different distances. So the optics are just generally better. And so that might be what creates that subjective improvement, 20/20, but 20 happy now, right? And so I found that kind of nerdy and kind of cool.
Yeah.
So if anybody's interested in learning more, don't ask me. Go ask your Cooper rep. They'll show you more information. So I want to talk a little bit about something different, Cooper related. But is there anything else we want to share about this lens before we change topics?
No, I think there's a UV blocker, which is like a cherry on top.
Cherry on top. Yeah, that's what we call that. It's a cherry on top. Okay, we can come back to contacts if there's something else we think of before we wrap up. But you and I had a really amazing opportunity last year to travel to Bali with Cooper to learn about and experience their partnership with plastic vending clinics. So could you tell me, for those who are uninitiated, who don't know about this partnership, what is that and what did we do when we were out there?
Yeah. So my understanding of the partnership is that CooperVision, through purchasing, of course, your contact lenses, a portion of that goes towards Plastic Bank. Plastic Bank then has a group of individuals in different countries. They are boots on the ground. They go in and collect the plastic from the oceans. In specific, for our case, it was plastic bottles. Once they take that plastic, they go ahead and recycle and sort through that plastic. People who are obviously in developing countries now get a stipend as a result of doing the work, which can then contribute to allowing their children and to go to school. They can get the books and supplies they need.
Yeah.
And they can basically put food on the table and provide for the family.
Yeah, pretty remarkable partnership where, I think, okay, yes, they're cleaning up the planet. That's obviously one benefit. Right? We got to get the plastic out of the water. But what makes it actually sustainable is the fact that the people there in these developing countries who are cleaning up the plastic, they actually make money. They generate income from this. And that few dollars a day or whatever that income becomes is, for them, it's a big difference. And it allows them to, like you said, put food on the table. And there are other aspects to it where they provided them access to certain types of care that they were not able to get access to. So we had the privilege of wading through the water
in
the mangroves and bagging up plastic. And then we went to the sorting sites and sorted. And then we went to see where it got packaged and, shipped. It was really, really an amazing experience and very cool partnership. Nat, I think you have some thoughts to share on that too.
Yes. So just recently we learned that with that initiative, we're now at 500 million, the equivalent of 500 million plastic bottle.
500 million.
Half a billion.
Half a billion.
So that's amazing. And everyone participates to it.
Yeah,
so that's amazing.
Yeah, well, right. Meaning everybody who is a Cooper customer and purchasing, right, that you're part of this program, right? Because Cooper is partnering with Plastic Bank. So really amazing. I was grateful to be there on that experience.
And we also had the chance to go to Costa Rica in their facility. And also, everything is think throughout the sustainability as well. Even just the way that they bring the employee, instead of having come all in their car, they're having bus. They're coming in bus. And the lighting is all thinking about. And even we have facility in Western Rieta in the States that it's all with wind power. They all run on wind power. So there's so much more that CooperVision is doing regarding that. Yeah.
Well, it's really good to know. I didn't know that either. It's learn something every day. And it's really cool that that's a front of mind for such a big company, global company, that sustainability and just environmental impact is something that's front of mind. Any other thoughts you want to share? Anything about the plastic bag experience or anything about Energist that we want to share before we wrap up?
I'll say one last thing, which is I think it's important to make sure that the individuals that we partner with or the companies that we partner with also make sure that there's value not just for our patients, for optometrists, but for the planet. Because at the end of the day, if we don't talk about sustainability, there won't be a planet and there won't be us and there won't be a next generation.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I've learned through my MBA course. Companies that are looking forward will always have sustainability in mind.
I want to share something from our friend, Dr. Wes McCann. When I had him on the podcast a little while back, he shared that he has 3 P's for how he makes decisions: patient, practice, profession. But I think we can add a 4th P, right? I think that's really add planet to that. Patient, practice, profession, planet, right? When we're making our decisions, when we're choosing who to work with, I think that's a great addition to that. So thanks, Wes. And thanks, Ev. Anything else you want to share, Nat?
I feel like we have a very nice product, and it's also helped the ECP to differentiate themselves. To offer something that it's not everyone. So, and it really helps in the patient every day.
Yeah, actually, that's something we didn't touch on is differentiation, right? And ultimately, we want to be the ones to provide the latest and greatest to our patient. We don't want them to learn it somewhere else, right? So this is an opportunity, once again, for us to say, hey, patients, I have something unique for you, something new for you that you've never seen before, that's going to provide you with an experience and comfort that you've never had before. I want to be the person to give that to my patient, right? Yeah. So here's another opportunity for us to do that. So thank you guys for doing this again. I love this conversation. Thank you to CooperVision for partnering and doing so many great things for the profession as well. Thank you to everybody who's watching and listening. Oh, hang on before I do that. Thank you to the BCDO for providing us with this space. And thank you for always elevating optometry in BC. We're at the beautiful JW Marriott. This is a wonderful venue and the conference has been amazing as always. So thank you, BCDO. And now, thank you to everybody who's watching and listening to the 2020 podcast, Canada's #1 optometry podcast. We'll see you guys in the next episode.